Hey guys, I'm going to show you guys a couple things here that I've been working on. A lot of it has to do with the program. This is RS Logix 500, and this is the program that makes all of the individual things work. So right now we're looking at ambient air temperature. We're going to scroll down and I'll show it all here. Top of hopper temperature, barrel temperature, expansion tank, final gas temperature, and this is the thermocouple. These are the instructions for the negative air pressure sensors, and one of these numbers is actually what you read. So if you look closely, you'll be able to see what they're displaying. But now we're getting into the logic for the ash grate shaker, and I figure things out as I go, and some things take me longer to figure out than others, and this may not be the most effective way to do this, but I did get it to work with this configuration. So this is the logic to make the ash grate shaker turn on for actually it's set for 1 second every 20 seconds right now. And you'll see there is a sealing rung here and also another sealing rung here. I'm going to scroll down some more so I could show the rest of this program. And then I'm going to put it into run mode. So this is the end of it. So it's documented what I've done here. So go easy on me, guys that know more about programming than me. Okay, so when you see this bit energized right here that I'm pointing at, that's when the ash grate shaker is going to be turning on and off. So it's going to do it. Now all I have to do to change the time of it is enter the time in here. You'll see every 20 seconds is the preset. Every 20 seconds it'll turn on the first timer, and then it'll allow this to stay on for 1 second. So these two timers are working together. It might be the second rung up there. So I'm going to put this in the run mode and I'll show you how it works. Now you'll be able to watch that time first. Let's see when it finally goes live. Okay, it's online now. So you'll see that timer counting up. 13, 14. Now you see it's only going to stay on for a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a shot. So you see the output came on that output. It's a relay output card. I'm hoping you can see it. And then what it does is it pulls in this contactor here and supplies the power to the ash grate shaker out here. So you see it'll continue to do that while it's in the run mode. So right now it's not working off of pressures, difference in pressures through the system like the logic that I would like to be in there, but for right now I can set up timers at whatever intervals I want and have it run. Okay, well, while we're over here, I'll talk about this new blower. It used to be a yeast pump housing, and I have a junk vacuum motor that had a bad set of brushes in it. Replaced the brushes and it works well. So these sanitary fittings come apart. You can access the whole inside. You could change the motor out, whatever. And then I have one clamp that holds the pipe that goes out the door, so that's removable, and then I could drag it inside. And that's just a steel pipe with a handle from a weightlifting bar as a stand welded. I'm going to turn this off so we don't have to listen to it constantly while it's not running. I'm just going to go and come out of run mode. So now it's just in remote program. Okay, so that should stop going off. But, okay, so you've seen the junk blower, and also, I might add, that this box here has circuitry in it from an old, so this box was a junk emergency lighting box. Used to have lights sticking out of it. So it's sort of a salvaged box, and all the electronics in it are from a salvaged vacuum cleaner that had an adjustable speed on it. So this switch on the outside turns it on and off. And then there's a knob inside here that I can slide to speed up or slow down the blower. And I think it works pretty well. I was going to get one of those Variacs, but I don't think I need one. I think this works well enough. So I have a check valve right before that blower, and I also have a regular hand valve that I can turn off when I know I'm not planning on using it, but even if I forget, it doesn't matter because this check valve is in place. So going out the door, this is going to be the unfiltered flare when I light it off. Then the next thing you see here is the filtered flare with the cyclone filter on it, the green hose going up to that. And then the third thing that you see is the exhaust from the Ninja. So I'll take you inside and show you some of the new plumbing that got a little bit changed up. So this is the same coming down through the coffee filter, and after the coffee filter it goes down, goes to a T, and it can either go through the blower or it can go through this green check valve, depending on whether the blower is running, and if there's draw after it in the pipe here. It'll just bypass the blower altogether, or it'll go through the blower when the blower is running, and then it'll pressurize this side and it won't allow anything to come back through because of the check valve. So then I put a second check valve, which is clear actually, so when this thing is operating you'll be able to see that opening and closing. And then I have the choice to go to the filtered flare by opening the left valve, or I can open, close the left valve and open the center valve there and go up and over and down right to the engine. So the idea here is it comes down, goes through a check valve, goes to the engine through the plumbing there. So when I want to run this on wood gas, I can pretty much just come over, make sure my propane tank is off, and make sure that my valve is closed here, and then I will not be able to get propane into the engine, and I will be able to run it on wood gas. And then all I have to do is adjust my air valve, which is right there, so that it runs. Now on Mike's setup, he always has his air shutoff valve that he likes to shut it down with. On mine, my valve is right there, so that's coming down in the air intake. So when I would shut this valve off, it would have the same effect. The engine would die because that's where all the air comes into the system. So it's just for the record of showing the new stuff out. But that's where we're at with the progress, and hopefully if all things go well, we'll have the time to do some running today. We'll see. Hang in there. Real quick, guys, a couple things I missed here. We'll be able to view this the whole time, which when you're looking at the value is the actual numbers that we care about. So on the right's your description, center's your values. The other thing I wanted to point out was that I do have my touchscreen panel view hooked up. The power's run to it, but I don't have the communication figured out between the laptop and the panel view yet. I do have the software to write how I want my screens to look, so I can scroll between, turn things on manually, go to status screens, whatever. I'll have all that figured out when I get that far. And then the last thing that I missed, that I neglected to show you, which I do have this hopper vibrator. Now you see it's air powered, which is why it's not mounted on there. I'm a little reluctant to mount something that I need a compressor to run. I'm probably leaning toward, I put a second set of holes in there for an electric vibrator. But you see it has set screws in the top, in the bottom, and on the sides, which you may or may not be able to see. But that is going to be able to be mounted on the air intake. So you see that big fitting there? That will be able to bolt right onto that. So hang in there, guys, and we may be starting this up here shortly. Sit tight. Okay, we're getting ready to start this blower up for the unfiltered flare to get a draw on the system. Our valve is open. Now, just to do a shot of our temperatures and stuff and pressures. So we have minus 5.1 kPa on the negative air pressure sensors, and you see minus 5. Only reads whole digits. You'll notice one of my temperatures is off. It's the top of hopper temperature. It's 53 degrees. That card is actually bad. You'll see 4 or 5 green lights on the one card and only 2 on the other card. The one on the right there is actually no good. I've been meaning to get a replacement for that, but they're not cheap, so just haven't got there yet. So it's only the top of the hopper. It's not a big deal. So we're getting ready to start this. I already have it loaded up. So with any luck, it's already lit. Not have the hopper lid open yet, but I just wanted to show you guys the lighting. I'll even show you how much char I loaded in there beforehand. Just enough to get started. I put a few fines in the bottom for filtering purposes, and then I loaded it up with some good char. So we'll let it warm up for a couple minutes, and I'll bring you back. Hang in there. Just bringing you back in for a second while we're warming it up. 4:45 p.m. We're looking at 292 degrees on the thermocouple, and everything else is just starting to climb a little bit. Hang in there. Still warming up. Just thought I'd give a shot of the unfiltered flare. It's not lit yet. And we'll take a peek down inside and see how we're looking. Starting to warm up. Be back in a minute. Adding some pellets. So we'll start with that and see how it goes. Okay, so we're closing in on 5:15. Looking at 775 degrees, 780 at the thermocouple. Barrel temperature is 129. So we're working our way up. We'll go out and see if maybe this thing will flare off for us. Turn the speed of the blower up just a little bit. Oh yeah, she's lit. You can hear it roaring. You can hear that sucker roar. Good deal. So coming back in, we are at 518. I just added 3/4 full scoops. About 8 inches or 8 kPa. We did just do a shake 74 seconds ago, but I might give it an extra one here. Just a quick one to show you what it does on the pressure sensors. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, we got 522. I'm getting ready to switch it over from the junk blower over the filtered flare. Let's see how it goes. Here we go. I'll close this valve just for fun of it. I'm going to come back over here, open this guy up, and we're going to turn the blower on. It's showing you the frequency in hertz. It's set for 30 hertz right now. So we will see coming up here shortly. You see we're at a higher vacuum level than what I was running the junk blower at. So I might want to give it a shake here. It's actually coming up. We'll wait for it. You're going to see 316. When that hits 325, you're going to see that shake. So for the last couple seconds, we'll go over here. You've seen it shake. And it dropped off the pre-filtered side to minus 4.1. Now I haven't cleaned these filters out, so this is still after the last run. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll try to light that filtered flare off. You can hear it roaring. Good stuff. I'm ready to add some more pellets. Coming up on 5:30. Shot at our temperatures. Ambient air 74. Top of hopper, which I don't expect to be right, is 55. Barrel temperature is 203. Expansion tank is 120. Oh, there goes our shaker. 86 degrees on the final gas output. 714. And it's probably going to climb since it just shook. And then 4.8 and minus 14 on the post-filtered side. I won't worry until I see 19. But go out. Should still be lit. Try to put something in the background that you can see it. You can hear the check valve just slapping around. Speaking of check valve, one more look here. 753 on the thermocouple, 207 on the barrel. So tight. Alright guys, let's see what happens. Gonna give the engine a little gas just to blow. All the blowers running. I'm gonna blow it through the line. Now I'm gonna shut the blower off. Now we're going to open this guy up. Turn the key on. Put it on run. This valve is already closed. This valve I'm closing now. And we will probably most likely have to mess with the air. Let's give it a shot and see. It's going to be hard to do this one-handed. Actually going to try to leave it in neutral for this.
I think it went out. This went out.
I know. I understand that, Vinny. Let it warm up a bit. just sitting idling. We're not driving yet. We're also not pulling real hard either. But she's running on wood gas, fellas. Let's see what happens when we mess with the air intake a little bit. Gas on the throttle. Alright, let's try to drive some here. Throttle holder definitely works. But bear with me a second. Maybe in a future video there'll be something more high-tech than this to hold the throttle, but pretty much have the air valve wide open and the throttle works. We're at 3,000 RPMs. I'm going to change to a higher gear here. It's got a real crazy chain tensioning system. Still needs a little bit of work, but for right now I'm going to give you a shot of it. Don't laugh, they only had light up rollerblade wheels on eBay that I could find cheap. So it's just a guy. Bounce around. Tension on the bottom. For some reason we're really not pulling hard here. So I might actually turn that blower back on, because we not in horrible shape for temperature, but 575, it's definitely lower than I like to see it. Alright, I'm going to pause it out. I'll be back in a couple minutes here to see what's going on. So the engine's been running for a little bit now. It's 614, 581 on the thermocouple. These are bouncing around. I don't know if it's just because of the intake strokes and messing with the sensors. I don't really have it under load. It's just running in gear, and I have alternators hooked up, just one alternator hooked up to the to charge the battery bank, the 24-volt battery bank. So just running it, trying to get a feel for throttle position and air position, and just playing around. But I don't want to let that thermocouple temperature get too low, so if it does start to drop off again, I might shut the engine back down for a bit. I should load it up electrically, but I'm just not ready to do that, so. Alright, sit tight. Okay, so the engine's still running, 621. Looking at 535 degrees on the thermocouple temperature, which doesn't make me happy, but it's running. You can see how violent the intake stroke of the engine is compared to just a blower. Flapping away. So I have the filtered gas valve closed and the gas to the engine open. And we are running. put a little bit of an electrical load on the system. You got 500 watts on each leg, so it's producing about 1,000 watts. I'll show you the inverters so you can see they're working. That's only one here. These two are off. And then you'll see the first one here is lit up and doing stuff. So I might wrap that up, but keep it running for a little while. Just watch our temperature, make sure our fan's keeping everything cold. Doing good so far. So far I've found I only have to adjust the throttle a little bit if it starts to fluctuate a little. And it does start to change once the ashtray shaker changes, but you would expect that. So we're gaining some good experience here. 529 on the thermocouple. Bring it back in a bit. So when everything's running in the garage, this is what you hear on the outside. I mean, my door is wide open, but it's so funny that exhaust has such a different smell to it when it runs on wood. Awesome stuff. Might get a little rain here soon. It's pretty overcast today. It doesn't matter, I guess. Bring you back in a bit. 636, the engine's still going. Drop down to 500 on the thermocouple. I don't know at what point I'll shut it down and turn on a blower. Try to bring that temperature back up. Oh, there goes the ashtray shaker. Doesn't seem like it's pulling hard. I only have a 1,000 watt load on it right now. 560 and 480. Everything's working. Keep it going for a bit. Alright, we're dropping down to about 460 on the thermocouple. Probably gonna shut the fuel off here and turn the blower on. Probably kill the engine. Turn the blower on for a bit. Just don't like to see that temperature drop down so far. So we'll come back in a bit. We got 643. We'll light this off before I shut it down. I guess either way, filters do their thing, but you let it drop too much and you're worried about tar, you know. Pretty steady breeze out here. Not sure if you can see the color of that. Alright, hang tight. Another round of readings, 6:52 p.m. Back up to 731 on the thermocouple. One thing I forgot to mention, and I haven't really been checking it all that often, when I had the engine running, I saw the air intake temperature up to about 150, which isn't that impressive because there's still a lot of insulating to do. Right now I'm just flaring off. Still just running the flare. I'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, it's after 7:30. Waiting for the sun to go down a bit. Had the engine running for a while. Had the meter spinning backwards for a bit. Not only making 1,000 watts, but figured I'd mention that what shut me down the last time started to happen again, and I noticed it because my pre-filter negative air pressure sensor started to climb real high. It was up to like 15. And I shook the grate and it didn't change, and I thought, well, that's why I'm not filling the hopper all the way up. So I went in and poked around through the hearth. There goes the shaker again. Poked around through the hearth. It might be going actually a little too often right now because that number is pretty low. But I poked around and cleared the blockage up, and away it went, and thermocouple's coming back up. It was down about 400 degrees. So I knew right away, better go blow the flare out, because otherwise I'll melt another check valve. So we learn our lessons well. Trying to give you a shot of the moisture. Now, I never cleaned that jar out, but you can see it's probably about a cup in there. And I guarantee you in that expansion tank there's a lot more. But just checking in, official time 7:34. Be back. Going on at 8 o'clock. Take another look at the numbers. Looking at 568 on the thermocouple. About almost 200 degrees on the barrel. Not too bad. About a quarter after 8. .541 on the thermocouple. Still going. One more shot. So coming in one last time, shutting down. It is about 8:30. I'm just getting ready to take the PLC offline here. And one more shot at the amount of moisture collected in the jar. Now, I don't know how much is in the expansion tank. There will be another video to follow. As far as clean out goes, I think just for fun, I'm going to clean the filters out and just see, you know, after a couple more hours of run time, what we find, how much moisture we collect, all that sort of good stuff. So, I guess that's about it for now. There'll be another video, probably not till next week on the clean out, but that's a wrap for today. So, thanks for following along, and I'll keep you posted when I make some progress.